Well, good evening, race fans, and welcome out to the Charlotte Motor Speedway for round number 7 of the ASRC Scrambler Street Stock Series, and what is going to be a high-speed chess game here tonight. Al Smith here up in the booth as always. Here tonight is Long for the call. Glad to be here. A little bit under the weather, so apologize for that, but right now qualifying is underway for tonight's racing, and they just started that. So right now out on the racetrack, all the cars are. It's group qualifying as they will start to get out there. And well, drafting is a thing here at Charlotte with these big stock car bodied street stocks, and they have punch a big hole in the air. You're going to see a lot of cars get a good runs. There should be a lot of pack racing here tonight for what should be a very good twin 25s. Once again, welcome on in here tonight to the Charlotte Motor Speedway as the ASRC presents the ASRC Scrambler Series. And let's take a look at tonight's race information. And it is just under a mile and a half. We'll call it a mile and a half. Cookie cutter track here in Concord, North Carolina. 25 laps in distance. They'll do a full field invert here tonight, and for the second feature, so we'll find out what's going to happen there. But right now qualifying is underway, and we'll take a look at the top of the board right now. McDonald getting a good lap in this time by. He's in a 3-car group with Evans and Demeester. So right now, 9 cars out on the racetrack have taken times. Our 10th competitor, the number 951 of Brian Wildassin, getting up to speed. He'll come to a stop here. So David Patton and Brett Hahn out on the front of this one here. Come across the stripe. We'll see what kind of line that they get. Patton's still second quick now. He'll jump out to the outside here in qualifying, trying to get some air maybe to the front of the car. Was not able to really talk that much to the drivers. They were all already into practice when I got to the track here tonight. Do not know if heat will be an issue or not. We will find out together. This is already round number 7. Next week the series will head south to the bull track called Lanier. The Lanier Motorplex will be the round number 8 in 1 week's time, and it should be a good one. Ron Hart jumping up to the number 2 spot now with a 36.51, 36.51 for Ron Hart as he works around this racetrack. Everybody doing group qualifying here for our round number 7. This should be a 10-minute session, I do believe. We'll switch this over to show you how much time is left in qualifying. And once again, we want to welcome everybody that's tuning in here tonight to the ASRC Scrambler Series, and what I think is going to be a pretty entertaining set of races here tonight. Charlotte, the biggest track, one of the biggest tracks that we'll go to, is our last what we'll consider a super speedway for the series here tonight for the season. After this, I believe there's only 4 more weeks, so the season quickly coming down. We'll get an update on points after tonight, and we'll start taking a look at the points battle. Coming there is now Charles Darling. You're looking at him to the top of the board in that number 88. Got a good draft behind the 51 around Hart. So Darling, McDonald, and Hart, your top 3 currently. Jeff Dillon jumps into spot number 4. David Patton rounding out your top 5. So the time to beat is a 36.44. We'll see if anybody can do that right now. McDonald and Demeester on your screen. And they're going to peel off as well. Brett Hahn and David Patton still up to speed. These two have been out there together for the duration of this qualifying period so far. See what kind of time they get. David Patton going to go a little bit quicker to third overall. So a nice lap there by Patton. Now Brett Hahn will drop in and get into the draft as these drivers are working together. And we're going to see that here tonight. You're going to see that like you do on your super speedway races. The draft means everything here. You're going to get a good tow. Around this racetrack, and we'll see if anybody has anything for Charles Darling's 36.44, as I believe Brett Hahn now getting back up to speed, maybe setting up a nice little gap there to get a good tow, but I wonder if the cars coming off pit road are going to hamper their lap. Doesn't look like it will, so right now Brett Hahn, David Patton on the flyer. Devin McDonald now up to his second spot with a 36.44. Hahn improves a little bit. Best lap of his session with a 36.54 that last time by. So now we got a good pack out there, a little extra practice, if you would say, give you a little taste of what we're going to see here in race mode here tonight. With just 2 minutes left in qualifying, your current running orders: Brian Wildassin, Franklin Evans, John DeMeester, Zach Coyer, Brett Hahn, 10th through 6th. Your top 5 is Jeff Dillon, Ron Hart, David Patton, Devin McDonald, and Charles Darling still holding onto that provisional pole. Everybody out there trying to get up to speed, trying to see what will happen. Zach Coyer in the 31 in action here tonight. Driver out of Tennessee. Now Ron Hart jumps to the point with a 36.36 second. Sorry about that, folks. 36.36 second lap for Ron Hart. In his big group here, we'll see the times are going to be shuffling all around, I do believe. When they come across the stripe. Now Jeff Dillon goes to the point. He's in this group right here. Ron Hart still second. So a big group of cars. Qualifying, getting wrapped down. I believe Jeff Dillon is going to hold on to be your provisional pole sitter here tonight at Charlotte. So let's take a look at your starting lineup for tonight's feature number 1. Starting on the pole, in the car number 62, it is Jeff Dillon. Starting second on the outside of him will be the car number 51. This is Ron Hart. The driver out of Newfoundland, Canada. This will be number 18 of Devin McDonald. Charles Darling in car number 88 will start 4th. David Patton will start 5th. 6th starting spot will go to the Jet. This is Brett Hahn. Seventh starter will be Zach Coyer, John DeMeester in car number 2. Franklin Evans and Brian Wildassin will round out your 10-car field. Tip of the cap to our man up in race control, Tanner Tallarico, the man behind all the scenes here tonight. That is your 10-car field. They are ready to go racing here tonight at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. The cars are all lined up in front of a packed house as they get ready to see some of the best short track drivers do their best as a super speedway field. As the pace truck pulls away, go on board and you see the field start to pull away here on the front stretch. So Jeff Dillon, Ron Hart on the front row of this one. Devin McDonald and David Patton in row number 2. Charles Darling, Zach Coyer. So we're going to be going green this time off of turn number 4. Hopefully everybody's doing good out there. Glad to have you along here tonight for ASRC's Scrambler Series, round number 7. Races 13 and 14 on the season. Twin 25s coming at you. There's a Chevy Silverado pace truck will pull on into the safe haven of Pit Road. Green flag is up in the hand. They're into the restart zone. And away we go. Round number 1 here at Charlotte. And the drivers getting up through the gears. And that's probably the hardest part in these street stocks. They don't have that quick transmission like a lot of the upper tier cars do. You really have to use the clutch. Can't just let off and blip it. So getting up through there, looks like everybody got through the gears good as they already rifling down the back straight away here in the turn number 3. Jeff Dillon jumps out to the early race lead over McDonald and Patton. Ron Hart on the outside lane. Jeff Dillon will lead lap number 1. They are side by side back there for your number 3 spot. That is Ron Hart working the extreme high side of the racetrack. It'd be interesting to see if the outside lane can form up. Only 3 of them out there right now. Charles Darling out there now. Here comes Coyer. He'll switch to the outside lane. So Zach Coyer trying to get to the back side. Stay in line there. As Ron Hart washed up the racetrack a little bit. Devin McDonald poking the nose underneath the 62 of Dillon and can't do anything with him that time by. Jeff Dillon still showing away that everybody trying to fight for a position. Ron Hart still holding pretty good right there in spot number 4, but he's working the extreme high side, and he's got some fast company up there with him. 31 of Zach Coyer, the 88 of Charles Darling right there as well, as they start to make some ground on your race leader. Down the back stretch, here they come with a head of steam. It is Ron Hart with a good push from Coyer. They are bidding for that number 2 position now. Here comes Hart. All right, it's so hard if you... Oh, hang on to it, Jeff Dillon. Oh, he gets hooked into the corner. They go. Big trouble. We got the big one down here in turn. Oh boy. Big trouble down here in turns 1 and 2. Multiple cars involved. Look, that all started when Jeff Dillon got down onto the apron, got loose. Let's take a look here. A lot of cars involved in that one, Charles Darling. Let's go on board with Charles Darling. Ooh, hard hits right there. Jeff Dillon involved with that one. He's already into the wall there. Let's go back here, watch it. Once again, he just got down on the apron, and then I believe McDonald just had nowhere to go. Got into the left rear or right rear quarter panel, and it just hooked Dillon up the racetrack. But a lot of the fast cars involved in that one. So that puts a lot of cars on pit road right now. David Patton is going to be a race leader. I believe only 3 of the 10 drivers not involved. Ron Hart on pit road. Devin McDonald is on pit road. Charles Darling's car. Everybody trying to get some damage fixed to get out there. Brett Hahn came down and away. Looks like his car. He was involved, but doesn't look like much damage on the 71. So maybe he came in just to take and top off whatever repairs that might have been needed, or make a small adjustment. You got a glass of water. You never know. John DeMeester now rolling off a pit road as well. So that'll put 5 cars back out on the racetrack as the pace track rolls across the line. I believe the lights will go out this time by. No, we'll go one more lap. Gonna do at least one more lap underneath the yellow flag here. Ron Hart was getting a good push there by Zach Coyer. It all went south there when Jeff Dillon got down on that apron. Here, we'll watch it again. One last from the blimp cam. This is what put us underneath the yellow flag. A lot of hard hits, especially for the street stocks at the speeds that they're running around here. Lights are out on top of the pace truck. That means we're going to go back green flag racing. We've got 7 cars back out there. We'll see how well that they'll do when back under green flag. Let's see John DeMeester's number 2 rolling off of pit road. Charles Darling's 88 is back out there. Zach Coyer as well. Those 3 drivers did not have the most damage, so not surprising to see them back out there. The other 3, Ron Hart, Devin McDonald, Jeff Dillon, they all took heavy hits. Field rolls through turns 3 and 4. We're getting ready back. Go green flag racing. 4 laps in. As the green flag will start to wave once again. David Patton's going to jump on the gas pedal. Here we go. 20 laps to go as Dave Patton showing away over the 61 of Evans, Wildassin, Coyer, Hahn, Darling, and DeMeester. Up front, Franklin Evans showing away right behind David Patton. He takes a peek to the outside. Are they going to shuffle out David Patton? No, not this time. $19 circuits to go here in the first of 2 twin 25s. David Patton showing away. The field's shrunken down to 7 cars in this pack. Ron Hart, Devin McDonald, and Jeff Dillon on pit road from our first yellow. Charles Darling working to the outside of Brett Hahn in that 71. DeMeester rounds out your running order. Everybody within 1 second of your race leader. Side by side back here for the 4th spot. Darling working the outside. Here comes Brett Hahn. He's trying to figure out which lane he would like to go with. Coyer stays down low. David Patton out front. We saw last week at Tsukuba was out front leading. Had a good shot at a W last week. And it wasn't meant to be. He is trying to get one here tonight. Evans right there behind him. Got a long ways to go in this first feature. Darling getting a good push here. Now Evans swings to the outside. Oh, Darling into the outside wall. We stay clean and green. Wildassin from the 10th spot up to 2nd. So Brian Wildassin at 951 car. Doing a good job so far here tonight. Brett Hahn came down pit road, got some damage fixed. He runs in 4th right there behind Franklin Evans. We'll see what kind of damage the outside wall rub Charles Darling did. I don't think it slowed him down too much currently. A little bit of right front fender, but that might keep that right front cool. We'll have to see as we got 15 laps to go as they work down the back stretch. Darling working the outside of Brett Hahn. Can't make anything with him. Jeff Dillon back out onto the racetrack. 4 laps down McDonald. The only one car not back out was the 51 of Ron Hart. And he took a head-on shot to that outside wall. David Patton still showing away. You see how Patton working the wheel back and forth. The throttle, you saw the run that the car behind him was getting. 12 laps to go. Brian Wildassin, is he setting him up for a last lap pass? Is he going to try to make a move on David Patton? Franklin Evans goes in high, trying to cut it down low. Can't do anything with him. Now he's got to run to the outside. Decides to tuck it back in. Charles Darling working the outside of Brett Hahn. Still, Hahn would have run, but has to back out of it to enter turn number 1. You can see how much of a run they get in that draft. The problem is, what do you do with it? Franklin Evans now jumps up to the high side in front of Charles Darling. Ten laps to go for David Patton, who has led it since the restart. Patton out front, side-by-side battle as they drag a race down the backstretch. It is Franklin Evans leading an outside charge, and he is pulled even with your race leader. Wildassin giving a little bump draft to the 38 of Patton. Side draft up off the corner. Here comes Wildassin to the back bumper once again of David Patton. Things are starting to heat up here with 9 circuits left to go. 5 cars underneath the blanket as they enter turn number 1. This time by Franklin Evans works the outside. He'll take over the race lead. Just give you a sense of the speed that these drivers are going around here. Now Patton works the inside. The inside lane, shorter way around, but I think the outside lane gets the momentum. We could have a photo finish opportunity coming up here. These 5 cars under a blanket. Oh, contact between Evans and Patton. They're going to go 3 wide. Wildassin trying to make it down low. Hahn off-roading it. Somehow Patton holds on to the race lead. Yeah, broke up that pack for just a moment, but just give them a second. They will all get bunched back up once again. Oh, Wildassin gets to the side of Evans. He has to chase the car up the racetrack. Darling and Hahn will tuck it down low. 6 to go to make it 5 at the stripe. Charles Darling now swings to the underside of the 61 off of turn number 4. 5 laps to go for David Patton. David Patton out front of this one, just trying to stay down low, make the car as wide as possible as Franklin Evans now draws side by side once again. They'll race wheel to wheel down the back stretch. Here comes the 951 of Brian Wildassin. He's back into the hunt of this as well. Wildassin down to the back side of Evans. Charles Darling down low. And Brett Hahn is just hoping for a hole. Four to go. Evans credited with lap. He's in the outside wall now. They're going to go 3 wide in the turns 3, 1, and 2. Wildassin sideways. Somehow they hold on to it. That's going to give David Patton a little bit of breathing space for the time being. But now Charles Darling swings to the outside, trying to do a pass. And just like that, Brett the Jet up to the number 2 spot. Three to go. Down the backstretch they come. It is still David Patton, but the outside lane starting to form themselves back up. Wildassin right to the back side of the 88. Franklin Evans to the left rear quarter panel of Brett Hahn. Got him a little bit loose. Broke up the momentum of the inside lane. 2 to go. 2 laps to go for David Patton, Brett Hahn, Charles Darling, Brian Wildassin. Your top 4, 5 cars is Franklin Evans. Who is going to win the opening race here tonight for the Twin 25s at Charlotte? We're going to find out this time off of turn number 4. The white silk will fly. David Patton trying to go to victory lane for the first time this season. Can he hold off the advances of the cars behind him? Charles Darling had a good head of steam that time into the corner. Down the backstretch. Here comes Darling. He swings to the outside. Oh, he gets hooked. David Patton gets hooked. Charles Darling will get through. Heartbreak once again for David Patton as Charles Darling sneaks through and will win race number 1. Oh, the heartbreak for David Patton is Charles Darling will pick up the win here in feature number 1. Wildassin will come home second, Coyer third, Demeester fourth. Patton will come home 5th. Evans, Hahn, Dylan McDonald, and Hart will be your top 10. Let's watch that last. Let's watch the last. Well, we were going to watch the last lap. They're going to go in there. So let's see if we can get a word with our race winner. From feature number 1. See if we can catch up with him here before he goes out there for a little bit of practice. And we have caught up with Mr. Chuck Darling. And Chuck, somehow you made it through that big wreck on that last lap to get yourself a victory here in the first of the Twin 25s at Charlotte. How'd you do that? It wasn't without some adversity in that first 25 lapper.
Well, I was telling my teammate, Ron Hart there, that I didn't have any expectations for this race, and then we got caught up in that melee there, and he got taken out, and fortunately, he's like the best teammate, and he stayed on as a spotter and kind of walked me through it, and man, I'll tell you what, that was hair-raising, white-knuckle racing that whole way. I mean, I hate that we all got tangled up there at the end, but sometimes you have to be lucky rather than good, and I'd rather take lucky and take my first win in ASRC competition.
Yeah, I mean that's your first win on this season as in here as well. What kind of confidence boost does that give you headed into the second round or the second feature here tonight?
Well, hopefully my teammate can actually finish this race and not get caught up in a mess, but man, it's just going to be patience and riding. I'm one of them guys that I hate riding on the low line and staying behind somebody, so I peeked it out to the outside, and I'll probably end up doing the same.
Now, how hard is it to manage the runs? It seems like these cars are punching a big hole, so you can really draft right up. Side draft seem to be really working out there. Is that something that you can put in your back pocket and keep in mind for at the end of this next 25 lapper?
Yeah, I'm gonna try the same technique. It's just you're on the edge so much, dancing around with these cars, and the more the tires wear a little bit and get heat in them, they start to slide a little bit more, and it's just you're on that fine edge, and you have to get close enough to the guy on the inside and manage that gap to the car in front of you. I mean, I trail braked a couple times so I wouldn't pop the guy in front of me.
Yeah, it definitely seems you guys are definitely busy inside the cockpit of these race cars. Well, we'll let you get out there for a little bit of practice here. Who makes it all possible for this 88 team to get you here in the victory lane?
Well, I got to thank the sponsors on my other car. I got to thank Horsepower Happenings, Michigan Auto Racing Fan Club, Motor Speedway and Event Center, um, all the guys here at ASRC. Tanner and them put on a great show. You guys at Turn 3 for a great broadcast, and got to thank special shout out to my teammate Ron Hart for being a great teammate, great spotter, and also the B and B&C Racing, my lovely wife Brenda.
Well, good luck here tonight, Chuck. In the second feature, we'll get you back up in your team chat. Good luck here.
All right, thanks a lot, Al. Appreciate it.
Here you go. There is your winner from heat race number 1. All right, gridding up here for feature number 2. Ron Hart. It will start on the pole. Just talk to his teammate that picked up the win. So they're going to start on the separate spectrums here. Devin McDonald will roll off in the 2 spot. Jeff Dillon and Brett Hahn will make up row number 2. Row number 3, we'll see Franklin Evans and David Patton. Tough break for David Patton in feature number 1. John DeMeester, Zach Coyer, Brian Wildasson, and Chuck Darling will round out your 10-car field as we get ready to go racing. Here in feature number 2, it was supposed to be a 12-car invert. A few drivers electing to take tonight off using their provisional on the season. That does not mean we've had a lack of excitement here tonight. Hopefully you're enjoying tonight's broadcast. Again, it says apologize. I am a little under the weather. Trying to make it through there for these guys, for you guys out there as well. All big fans. Really appreciate everybody's support here. As you take a look at our feature 1 winner, Chuck Darling, Ron Hart. He wrecked out early on in this one. Would be redemption to pick up the win here. 25 laps is the distance. His green flag is up and Hart jumps on the loud pedal. We've noticed this throughout the season. That the second feature seems to be a little more tame than the first one. So we'll see what happens here in feature number 2. Right now, Ron Hart jumps out to your early race lead over Jeff Dillon and Devin McDonald. Franklin Evans runs in 4th. 5th spot, David Patton quickly jumping up 1 spot to the 5th spot. They're going to go 3 wide. Oh, they thought about it. They thought better of it. Jeff Dillon now. Devin McDonald swings to the outside around Ron Hart. Couldn't quite get there. Now we'll tuck it down low. I probably jinxed us saying that they've been a little bit tamer here in feature number 2. What do I know? I'm just a broadcaster. They always like to prove me wrong. That is true. It does look like a lot of fun out there. I wish I was behind the wheel of one of these street stocks here tonight. It's always fun to bring a short track car to a big 1.5 track and let her eat. And that's what these drivers are doing. And as you heard from Chuck earlier in our interview with him, they are busy inside the cockpits here. A lot of dragging their brake, managing your runs, trying to figure out where you can go with those said runs. David Patton now up to the 4th spot. He got around with ass, and Ron Hart shuffled to the outside now. We will see if Darling and Hart can form up. Remember, those two are teammates. They work up off the corner. We'll put lap number 3 into the books. And we're going to start working lap 4 side by side for your race lead. Everybody still out on the racetrack. John DeMeester had lost touch with this lead pack. Not sure what happened to John. You see the cars start to wash around a little bit. But it's interesting to hear them say the cars start to handle even. They're pretty okay at the start, but once the tires start wearing, the fuel load goes down. They start to become a little bit of a handful. Even rows of 2, just like they were on the pace lap, but they're all doing this at 140 plus miles an hour in a street stock. Oh boy, hang on to it, Ron Hart. Got a little bit of fish tail in there. David Patton now swings to the outside right behind him. I think maybe some contact between those two. Got him a little bit sideways there in the turns 3 and 4. Now they're working through 1 and 2. Hart still showing the way through the corner. McDonald down low. Jeff Dillon showed speed all night long. Any of these drivers can win. Here tonight, what is an open? Oh, they make some contact. Everybody's going to have to back out of it. They do so we live to see another day. That could have been very, very bad. Good heads up driving, leaning on each other once again. These drivers really getting after it. Devin McDonald up on the front. Oh, they're leaning on each other once again. I think they're trying to make purple. I think that's what you get when you mix blue and pink. I think that smells like a recipe for disaster. They've gotten away with it so far, but it's been good racing so far here in feature number 2. Reinhardt shows the outside lane. It is McDonald down low, paving the way down on the inside. Behind them, they are fanning out, trying to figure out which lane that they would like to go to. These drivers really getting after it here tonight. Still 140 mile an hour pace laps as they are stacked up 2 by 2. No one's trying to make it 3 wide just yet. Reinhardt getting some bumper tag from the 38 of David Patton, who's just trying to help him clear. The 18 of McDonald. Hart still gets credit for leading that lap. 13 laps to go. Franklin Evans now trying to make some hay behind Brett Hahn in that red number 61. Zach Coyer as well. And Charles Darling. Gotta wonder if they are just kind of waiting to see what happens up at the front of this one. It is tough when they are stacked up like this. 2 by 2. It is tough to make any moves to make positions up. Where do you go? Well, Franklin says, I'll show you what you do now. You put it right in the middle, go 3 wide. That's what you try to do to get a position, and sometimes it works. He thought better of it and brought it back to 2 by 2. Brett Hahn backing up on the outside lane for the moment. Now gets a nice surge of energy. Got a push of air from behind and a nice toe up front. They are leaning on each other once again. Hart and McDonald. How long can they get away with it? Ten laps to go. It's anybody's ball game. It's right now between Ron Hart and Devin McDonald as they work down the backstretch. In the turns 3 and 4, Hart with about a quarter of a car advantage. McDonald, though, they make contact. They're sideways off the corner. All the way up to the retaining wall. They capture it somehow. Still more contact. It is like a heavyweight boxing match out there right now between Ron Hart and Devin McDonald. They've been swapping blows just like that. Hart now going to drop down in front of the 18 of McDonald. That will leave David Patton to the outside, and I believe he's only got a helper in the form of the 71 of Hahn. Franklin Evans now jumps out to the outside lane. Oh, Hart got turned sideways a little bit from the 18 of McDonald with a bad bump draft. These drivers really getting after it here in feature number 2. Oh, trouble behind him. Hahn's in the outside wall. Evans will get collected. Yellow flag is out as Evans slams the outside retaining wall. Everybody will take and get a breather before we settle this one out. Let's take a look back here and see what happened. Oh. Let's get another look at this one. It looked like a bump draft gone wrong. Oh yeah, Evans just got to the outside of the 71 of Hahn, and it hooked him, and up in the outside wall he will go. So Evans will come down with a broken right front. You can see that car limping. We'll see if they will be able to fix that car and get him back out on the racetrack in a timely manner. Or if Evans will be done here tonight. Ron Hart, your race leader, gets a moment to breathe. He has had his hands full here in feature number 2. Him and Devin McDonald have been really swapping the paint back and forth. David Patton up to that number 3 spot. Patton's been quick and sporty pretty much all season long. Just has not had the luck that you need to finish the job or even get on the podium. Last week leading, got into a wreck on the first right-hander at Tsuka. Tonight leading the first feature to the last lap, and then got just clipped while leading. 4th spot, Jeff Dillon. Dillon had a very rough first feature as well. He's having a nice rebound running in the 4th spot. Brian Wildassin running 5th. Zach Coyer 6th. 7th spot is Chuck Darling. Remember, he won feature number 1. John DeMeester is 8th. 9th spot is Brett Hahn. And Hahn was involved in that wreck there. The yellow flag that brings us underneath the yellow for the first time here in feature number 2. Hang on to her, Brett. Green flag is up. We're back underway. Ron Hart jumps out to a sizably large lead. Not sure you want to be that far out in front with a head of steam that they're going to have behind them. Patton looks down low underneath McDonald. McDonald tries slamming the door shut. Patton said, not this time. 2x2 behind your race leader, Ron Hart. Looks like a Delaware restart. Hart jumps up in front of the 18 and McDonald to slow his advances. Really cut down in front of Patton. It's a little too late. Here comes David Patton. Patton down low. McDonald now has Chuck Darling up to the back bumper. Remember, McDonald and Hart teammates. Jeff Dillon down low helping out David Patton. This time by it'll be 4 laps to go here in feature number 2. Hart had the lead that time by. David Patton runs it down low. There'll be 3 to go at the stripe. This one is anybody's match. Here is they enter the corner. Reinhardt has had him almost clear, but now he gets a good run as David Patton down low. Now McDonald's going to swing to the outside. They thought about going 3 wide for a moment down the backstretch. Thought better of it. Not quite yet. Time to pull that trigger. 2 to go. This time by the popsicle sticks will be up. Your leader's starting to stretch it out over the cars behind them. It is going to be settled between the top 4. Patton and Hart, door to door off of turn number 2. Down the backstretch, they will drag race. McDonald giving Hart a good push. Oh, he's going to get him a little bit sideways. The white flag will come out this time by. Oh, they get hooked again. Yellow is out. Yellow, we're going to go to overtime. Oh, heartbreak. Once again, Ron Hart leading this one fast. Oh boy. Let's take a look back here. About the corner, they were just hooked. Let's see if we can get a better view of it. They just come off there. There's a bump draft that went into this corner. They're all sideways. It looks like the 18 and 62 get hooked, and that hooks them into the 51. 51 turns sideways. The 38, a Patton, just wrong car, wrong situation again. Those 3 hard to the outside retaining wall. He comes right down in front of his teammate, and that is going to be probably a race-ending blow for the 88, as I believe that right front will be completely gone. So come back to live pictures here. David Patton is shown as your race leader, but we got to wonder how much damage is on that 38. For a green, white checkered, a little bit of right front damage on the 18 as well. Charles Darling was able to continue on. Looks like he'll come down pit road now. All right, we're going to go back green flag racing next time by. Green, white, checkered shootout here at the end, feature number 2. Can Dave Patton hold him off? Is his car wounded enough? Or is it okay? Devin McDonald, can he do it? He was involved in that wreck as well. Jeff Dillon, third. Brian Wildassin, fourth. Zach Coyer is fifth. That's your top five. Sixth is John DeMeester, Brett Hahn, seventh. Charles Darling and Ron Hart. Here we go. Pace track getting ready to peel off into the safe haven of Pit Road. Restart into the hands of David Patton. Green flag is up. And we are back underway. Zach Coyer swing jumps out of line first. He'll swing to the outside of Wildassin. Can't quite do anything with him. David Patton out on the front of this one. Here comes the 18 of McDonald. He'll swing to the outside. 3 wide down the back stretch. Here comes Jeff Dillon. Dillon will make the move on the 38 of David Patton. Off a corner number 4 they come. White flag will fly. Final trip around the speedway. Jeff Dillon with a bold 3 wide move jumps into your number 1 spot. Side by side, more paint swapping between Patton and the gloves are off. They are 3 wide down onto the apron. Somehow they hold on to it. Off a turn number 4 they come. Checker flag is up. Jeff Dillon will pick up the win. Second will go to the 38 of Patton. Third will go to Coyer. In a photo finish between Coyer and McDonald. Wildassin, DeMeester, Hahn, Darling will round out your cars that finished the race. Ron Hart and Evans will round out your field as the fireworks go off. It is Jeff Dillon picking up the win. Here in feature number 2, David Patton will come home in the number 2 spot. And Zach Coyer, third at the line. All unofficial, obviously, until after post-race inspections happen, well, we will unofficially talk to our top 3 here in feature number 2. Right after this, we'll take a quick break here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. You're watching the ASRC Scrambler Series. We'll be right back with our post-race show.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12-Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Welcome back here to the ASRC Scrambler Series post-race show. We are going to down here in Victory Lane. We caught up with tonight's feature event winner. He looks a little worn out, a little bruised and battered after that first feature, but Jeff, you're going to come home and with a victory here in feature number 2. So salvaging, I guess, an upside to what started out to be a rough night.
Oh yeah, definitely a good turnaround. First thing, the first race, apologize for losing that first race. I just hit the apron and I killed everyone's cars. So yeah, I apologize to all those guys, and it was just me. It wasn't anyone behind me's fault. But yeah, thankfully this second race here turned around, and yeah, I luckily had the least amount of damage of everyone around me there at the end, and had a good little run down the backstretch.
Yeah, talk about, we saw you go to F3 wide, and we're going to get to that through a moment here on our side that we're showing everyone, but talk about the racing out there tonight at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. It seemed very intense. It seemed like you had to really manage your runs. I feel like you get a run anytime you wanted, but how hard is it to manage that in these race cars, knowing that there wasn't a lot of room to really go anywhere with those runs?
Yeah, it was tough because it's different than racing like plate cars. Daytona, Talladega, at least there you can get around and get a push, and you can move that whole line, forward or back a little bit, And here, pushing, it does some, but unless the car is pushing, you lose the front end. So by the time you get in the corner, at least for me, you gotta get back off the gas a little bit, and you get spaced out from the car in front of you, and you just can't make those lines move the way you want. So it's tough. So it's yeah, man, it's almost like the cup races you see on TV nowadays. You have two lines and they're stuck side by side. So yeah, it's definitely tough, and they get loose after a while. It was loose going into turn 3 there a couple times. So yeah, it was interesting.
It was a lot of fun watching though tonight, and I'm sure the viewers and you guys, when you go back to rewatch, you'll enjoy watching the racing. It was a lot of good racing, and you can tell you guys were having a good time out there. I believe that this is our last real super speedway of the series this season. Next week we head to Lanier, back to where these cars are kind of the bread and butter for the street stocks. What's the outlook for Lanier for you and the 62 team?
Definitely looking forward to more of the short tracks. As much as I like Darlington and some of the last few tracks we were at, I haven't had that good of runs, so I'm definitely happy to win tonight, but I'm looking forward to go back to the short tracks. I think I'm a lot better with a street stock on those tracks than these big tracks, so definitely looking forward to heading that direction.
Well, we look forward to seeing you in action in 1 week's time. But I want you to enjoy this one. We'll roll the red carpet out. Who makes it all possible for the 62 team to get you here in Victory Lane?
Well, definitely my teammate Zach. He kind of gets me up to speed on all the street stock stuff. Zach Hoyer, he's a lot better at street stocks than I am, so thankfully I have him to lean on and get settings from. And all the admins here, they do a great job I know it's getting warm outside, and car counts go up and down, but they do a great job every week, and you guys, the broadcast, very cool to watch, and you guys put on a great show. And sorry for making the first one a little less interesting there, wiping everyone out in first 5 laps, but yeah, hopefully next week we can keep it going.
Well, Jeff, until then, buddy, keep it wheels down. We'll see you next week at Lanier.
Thank you. Have a good one.
There you go. Tonight's feature winner, Jeff Dillon. And we'll catch up now with the driver that finished in the number 2 spot. And it is probably a welcome number 2 spot finish for this driver. It is none other than the 38 of David Patton. And we're catching up with him now, just rocking down pit road here to the 38, and David, it looked like Heartbreak City 2 weeks in a row. Well, it was Heartbreak City 2 weeks in a row. Feature number 1. Let's not even talk about that. Let's talk about this second place finish for you here tonight, and feature number 2. What a great race! The car, you looked like you were probably one of the best cars, best drivers out there. Just Lady Luck does not fall on your side.
Sure doesn't, Al. I don't know what it is about me leading a race that the racing gods don't like, but it almost burned me twice. I got right before that last restart. I didn't get a chance to look at it. I don't know if me and Ron just kind of got sucked together or what happened, but got turned up into the wall and pretty hard damage on the right front. I wasn't really sure how the car was going to react. I don't know if on the final rear and white checker restart if I was down on power, or maybe I waited until the green to fire. Maybe I just hit it too early, a little bit too early, and it gave those guys a huge run on me, or I was maybe a little down on power and needed a draft to keep up. But man, like Jeff went blowing by me on the left side on the apron, and then I think it was Devin and Zach going by me on the right side, and I felt like I was just getting eaten by a whale. But somehow managed to kind of settle the car down going into the corner, and then a whole bunch of stuff happened, and I'm not really sure what happened. I was just sort of reacting to the hits as they came, and somehow I kept the car straight and crossed the line second.
Yeah, you got to come home second place. I mean, that's got to be a good confidence boosters after the first feature here tonight. That really end the way that we were hoping it would end for you. And this season it's kind of been that story, but this has to be maybe a turning point to the ship here, and we look forward to the rest of the season. Talk about the racing out there tonight. We saw you guys swap and paint a lot out there. How much fun, how much anxiety, nervousness does that bring out? And I mean, do you trust your competitors enough to race that way at a big track like you did here at Charlotte?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it brings out the super speedway jitters, and because that's kind of how you race it. Just foot down, turn left, try and stay in the bottom. And these cars it was so hard to get anything to happen, just because they're low power and everybody's just, no one's making any ground on anybody. And there's definitely some names that you can trust, and some that maybe not so much. So you try and stick with the names that and do your best to stay away from the ones that you don't think you can trust. So there's definitely friends and foes on the racetrack, but it was fun. I wish we had more cars. We were really shocked tonight that we had such a kind of a poor turnout for the series. We figured free track, Charlotte, everybody loves it. Easy drive, easy. It's easy to lap these cars here. It's a little harder to do it when you're on somebody's door, but we figured we'd bring out a full field, and lo and behold, we had like 10 cars. We couldn't believe it. So I don't know what was really going on as far as the car count, but as far as the fun count, it was fun. It was a little nerve-wracking. It was a little frustrating that you couldn't really make anything happen unless you did something crazy like we saw Jeff do. Again, kudos to Jeff on that left-hand side pass on the apron going down the backstretch. I didn't expect that one coming, and half of me was like, I'm just not going to let him in. I mean, what's he going to do? And then at the last second, I kind of thought better of it. I'm like, all right, I shouldn't let him, because we're going to wreck the entire field, and technically he's got the spot, so but that was a good unexpected move. But that's really all he had to do that to make it work. Like you couldn't make it work any other way. But it was fun, just a little bit frustrating and a little nerve-wracking.
I hear you on that one. Well, you're going to come home with that number 2 spot and soak it in, enjoy that one. We'll send good vibes, and hopefully it'll turn your season around. Who makes it all possible for this 38 team to get you here tonight and into the booth to talk to me?
Well, first of all, I mean, Tanner and you know, the ASRC league members, and you know, it takes everybody. You know this, Al. It's not just the admins. It's not just the guy putting the series together. It's the whole league as a whole that we all have to join and show up and race and compete in order to make a league work. So that's really the people who make it happen is ASRC and all the members that show up and race with us. And then, of course, as I always say, I don't think I got a chance to talk to you yet, but every time I ever get a chance to talk to Brett, you know, I think ASRC and Turn 3 has formed a great partnership over the years, ever since I first reached out to you guys to broadcast our Dirt Series way back when, and we just loved every second of your broadcasts across all our series now. Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Sunday night. So again, thanks to Turn 3 and all the work that you guys do. You're top notch. Definitely my favorite broadcast team in the iRacing service. And then finally, my lovely, beautiful, talented, witty, smart wife that's in the other room, that's just sitting there watching TV while her 42-year-old husband plays video games.
They are the unsung hero, aren't they?
They're just the best.
They are. Absolutely. Well, congratulations, David. Thank you for the kind words. We do appreciate it, and very humbling. So thank you very much. Congratulations. Hopefully we'll talk to you a little bit more this season as we head to Lanier next week.
Yeah, hopefully. We'll see. Maybe this will turn things around a little bit this season.
There you hear it. There's the number 38 of David Patton finishing in that number 2 spot here tonight. And that leads us to our driver of the number 31. And that is none other than Zach Coyer. Zach Coyer here on pit road with me now. And Zach, an eventful night. You're going to come home with a photo finish and end up in the 3rd spot here in feature number 2. Overall, not too bad here. Nice rebound in this feature.
Oh yeah, last feature it was just a headache with getting caught up early in a wreck, and then lifting when I shouldn't have, and losing the field after getting all my damage. It's definitely a great feeling to be where I am right now.
Talk about the racing here tonight. I've talked with, asked Jeff and David how much fun versus white knuckledness is racing these cars at a track like Charlotte. We all know how much fun it is to race here at Charlotte Motor Speedway with these cars, but when you're in the trenches doing the battles as you were all night long, how much of the fun kind of is put on the back burner until afterwards you're like, man, that was fun.
Well, honestly, man, if I'm not having fun the whole time, I'm gonna end up causing a big issue. So I just always try to make it about being fun out there, and then I'll end up being where I need to be at the end. But like I said, me and Jeff talked about this all week. We were gonna try to work together, and I hate what happened in race 1 with him. But there at the end, he told me he was gonna go for his move, and he called it out at the beginning of the race. He said, if they're battling, I'm gonna just go for it. Sure enough, he did, and I was just happy for joy to see him doing it. And then I just kind of tried to follow him, and I ended up in 3rd place with that photo finish. Great battle with the 18 guys. Send a shout out to Devin too, man. That was awesome battling there at the end.
Yeah, how much fun is it with these cars where you don't want to necessarily just beat and bang, but know that these cars, you can rub a little bit and not necessarily going to have a lot of issues. Does that make the racing or make it where you're a little bit more amped to make a move or maybe lay the bumper to someone where it's not necessarily just going to wreck them?
Absolutely. These things are tanks, and if you run them as much as I do, like I said, I love these short street stocks on short tracks, super speedways, anything, but I know how hard you can hit somebody, how much bumping you can do. So whenever I saw the 2 leaders up there door banging, I said, gonna slow down, but they're probably not gonna wreck each other. So it's an absolute blast in these cars. I feel these are the best cars on the simulator, and the best. They put out some of the best racing too, because they're such low powered. Anybody can do them, and you can make some absolutely amazing moves in these when you need to.
All right, come home third place here tonight. Going to help you in the point standings this season. Next week, well, we head to your bread and butter, the Lanier, back to the short tracks, and we're going to head to Lanier next Wednesday night. How are you at Lanier's? I know it's a tricky track, but it's also a really fun bull ring.
Oh yeah, like I was talking about it with my team earlier, and I said we're in the home stretch now. We're in the short tracks. This is our bread and butter. So hopefully we can make some moves on the 4 guys that are in front of me. I know the 4 guys that are in front of me are top notch, top tier. So definitely thinking about the point scheme through the rest of the season, and just trying to be there at the end to say, hey, I race with some of the best guys in street stocks. I feel, because this league's amazing at what they do and everything they put on, and these guys are absolute animals out here.
You definitely are proving that week in and week out, Zach. And well, congratulations here on tonight on your 3rd place finish. Who makes it all possible for this 31 team to be here on the podium?
I want to send a shout out to All-Star Racing, Matt Vade, Justin Blackbeard, Jeff Dillon, Chris Angel, all them guys back there that help me give me the confidence to get in the car every week. Send a shout out to Tanner for putting on this amazing show and this amazing league together with these great guys, and you guys up in the booth for making everything possible. And big shout out to Jeff on his win tonight, man. I'm happy for you.
Well, there you hear it. Zach Coyer, your 3rd place finisher here tonight. Zach, take care, buddy. We'll talk to you hopefully in a week's time, if not sooner, here on the Turn 3 Racing Network.
Hopefully to hear you next week, Bubba. Good hearing you.
There you go. That is the number 31 of Zach Coyer. And let's do your results here for feature number 2. This is how they finished. Jeff Dillon picked up the win. David Patton and Zach Coyer, you just heard from him. Devin McDonald will get credited for 4th. Brian Wildass in 5th. John DeMeester 6th. Brett Hahn 7th. Charles Darling 8th. 9th is Ron Hart. And Franklin Evans will round out your field here tonight in what was a great night of action here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Once again, I am Upstate Al, and appreciate you all for tuning on in here tonight. Hopefully next week I will feel a little bit better. I apologize for that. But until then, I hope you guys keep it wheels down. We'll see you all in Georgia at the Lanier Motorsports Plex. But until then, we'll see you in Turn 3.